I'm going to go ahead and just take 3 breaths in. We're going to work with the pale pink ray, the pale blue pastel ray, and then the pale gold ray, and just see them each inhale, exhale, we bring them all in together as one into the heart. And through the next inhale, exhale, we're going to expand the light through the heart, opening up a pastel, holographic, heaven celestial realm with a crystal cathedral that mirrors vertically both upwards and downwards, as if there's a stream of water running in between the midway point across the horizontal line. And focusing on this imagery, the tri-wave architecture, you may actually start to feel a lot of pain coming up around the back side of the neck as we're connecting into this architecture, into this light model. Allowing this to translate through the vertical pillar. To decompress any resistance, decompress any energetic clog-ups or stagnation would be a better word to use. And to release the compression. Held within the field. Okay, and in doing so, we then got pressure just building over the left side of the body. And as this is unlocking hundreds of downward pointing golden triangles, symbol codes moving in to the presentation, which is symbolic of the feminine. Unlocking through the hips, releasing restrictive patterns and emotional wave spectrums of nurturing femininity. And through the imagery, presenting a huge sphere of opalescent clear quartz, or an opalescent quartz. This expands as a quantum sphere holding memory. So from this founder race perspective of the 3 rays, we look into the quantum sphere with the golden upside down triangle codes, illuminating and unlocking the body. The feeling of repression starting to lift through the physical structure. restrictive of nurture and softness, allowing the emotional body just to separate out the restriction and the pain and the limitation held within form. And we can then just trace this through one's own personal history where femininity had been repressed, where softness and nurturing had been repressed. And where you had limited one's own ability to nurture yourself. Through the blockages of truth to your reality and to the way you choose to interpret reality. So we're literally clearing a whole load of overlays to the perceptions and overlays to situations in which we've had to man up, so to speak, rather than soften into. So let's bridge that softening into the polarity of the manning up, let's say, or the toughening up. So we can bring it back to the 0 point. And neutralizing the waves of anger, the waves of frustration, for being silenced. Okay, and then this is translating again into multiple junctures in time within the quantum sphere, where it's actually presenting in time junctures of the Andromedan mother matrix as a seed point or a start point. Lots of pain coming up over the crown of the head around this one, because they want to reconnect to that mother arc, the mother matrix, and use it as a sustenance point of divine mother energy to bridge into the divine father energy and building back into that golden triangle, the downward pointed golden triangle, where nourishment is restored on all levels of the Trinity. And then we're going to take it through the ancestral line, starting with the parents. and stripping out the lack within the ancestral line, the lack of nurturing within the ancestral line, and we want to replace that lack with full blown, abundant, unconditional nurturing. And in fact, we want to kind of detangle the energetic system from that ancestral lineage and to unify in an integral structure to become self-governed and to draw power from one's own source rather than being receptive or laying expectations on others to feed you, like we did as we grew up with our parents, relying on them to feed us then. And running that mother father frequency, divine mother, divine father frequency down and through into those attachment layers of the child and of the personality. And sealing them out. Tia okora ma atapuriash masmano okora. To yusno usen okora kiakratia. Tia okora tama asni shiokora. Okay, so we're just starting to feel the back of the heart unlock here as we're starting to claim back energetic sovereignty and reposition the structure to start pulling in energy from a different source point where it's kind of been scattered all over the place before. We want to kind of understand why we've been drawing resource from people around us rather than from our source integral. So we're going to pitch this question. What is the reasons for this? And what I'm kind of being shown off the bat is effectively a plate of spaghetti being hit with a hammer, and where the hammer being hit on the plate is effectively layers and layers and layers of trauma, the spaghetti is where it's kind of each individual strand of the divine blueprint has been interlocked and enmeshed with one another. It became blended within the energy systems became blended with different people functions, and this is where we get the bleed through of other people's energetic information from the collective field into our own system, so we can kind of draw information in from others and through like the deceased, through even going up through vertically, we can also pull this in on a monadic level through the galactic families. And it's very much an interlocked, interwebbed, and enmeshed set of energy systems on different dimensional fields that are kind of interlocked. So, what is the purpose of this really? I guess it is to source and locate the triggers and traumas held within these different dimensional fields. The downside to this is that it pulls in negative information into your awareness as well to have to handle and have to kind of review. And if the awareness is not there, one is kind of pulling in other illnesses or traumas that's kind of moving through that collective network and localized network. So really, it's kind of fundamentally flawed. It is, well, it's not flawed per se because we're learning in the process. However, when we kind of have too much information coming through us, it becomes very confusing as to know what's ours. Where does my end of the spaghetti strand finish and where does yours begin, kind of thing. So let's just observe these long threads of silk or the long strands of spaghetti, however you want to look at it. And we just want to kind of identify your own unique strand. And release, revoke, rescind any and all oaths, vows, agreements, contracts, and covenants, known and unknown, embodied with karma to be released now, that ties you into experiences of recycling karma, recycling trauma, and the experiences built through the templating and the imprints of consciousness that enmesh you to these people. And in doing so, we're just going to invoke the opalescent fire at the heart center and just take that up and around, all the way around the body, as we're just getting in some energetic disturbances or entity fields that are kind of becoming kind of rattled around this. And they look like, the only way I could describe them is mantis-like spiders with like the blades of a mantis on the back of the legs. So we're seeing this as kind of like infiltration or entity fields that we want to just kind of protect ourselves from doubly, not to kind of pull this in. So if we take it up a notch to the next level, we've then got a projection of geometry. And this is a blend of light and dark geometry that's kind of interlocked and interwebbed and multi-layered. We're going to just start lifting out the black layers, the unsymmetrical layers, easing out black smoke, and recode the field. Unlock the blueprint and reset the base geometry of manifestation. Okay, and you should actually start to feel all of the lower chakras start to unlock and decompress and become very light in the lower body, gradually making its way up through the heart and through the whole left side of the body. And as we look through this geometric field, which held all the templating, that held all the imprints, enmeshed with dark and light, we're now hearing harmonic sound tones like harmony, grace chords of singing or of a kind of organ, pipe organ, but very ethereal or celestial. And beyond, through that sound, creates the visionary experience of the creating of karmic contracts on the soul and celestial levels and going up into the monadic oversoul levels. And through the dissolution of the contracts, we've got the energy system separating out on these levels now. And just allow the backlog of emotional trauma to pass through the body. A lot of grief, a lot of pain. And beyond that, through the processing, we're then coming to a space of diamond alchemy, forgiveness. Allow that diamond flower of forgiveness to open and spin, clockwise rotation, creating a vertical scalar diamond wave, unlocking the higher chakras this time, the heart, the throat, the third eye, the crown, the thymus, the medulla oblongata, earth star stellar gate, and then back in that original celestial realm, right at the start, a representation of the octahedron in its three-dimensional form in a pearlescent, opalescent violet hue. We're going to spin this through center and allow the divine mind, divine intelligence field to expand. And we're going to bring that down through the crown and have it sit in the thymus. Unlocking the lower quadrants of the body and the upper quadrants of the body. Pressure through the solar plexus and through the sternum. Blame, shame, guilt, self-flagellation, self-persecution unlocks to release as we move into a space of unconditional forgiveness. Oversoul layers and connecting into the source field. Releasing out opposition, releasing out separation. holding the imagery in the mind's eye. And as we focus in on the imagery, the light spectrums allow the full release of sticky black tar, which is a kind of emotional disturbance layer that locks out the ability to see multi-dimensional perspective of the trauma fields or the cause and effect karmic layers due to being held in victimization and vengeance. Allow all of this black tar to up and lift. As soon as we see it, this is the catalyst for it to break down because we know what it is. It's got no power over us and we can let it go. Deep heart clearing. Emerald heart beating. Aquamarine, Aquaelle, geometry, signal codes of the Aurora platform interlock through the emerald heart. Bridging the connections to the Aurora platform. Where we feel the grace of the Divine Mother, Divine Daughter connection to move into embodiment. And this creates an anchor point and a connection into the Aurora platform. The Aurora platform is the next step into the connection to the Mother Matrix, but also to the Ascension Earth program, which is a safe space outside of the reversal systems that have been running, which are breaking down. That are blocking. The Aurora platform is hosting a safe zone away from the reversal networks as they break down. Lost my train of thought then. So let's sit with that symbol code as your emerald heart activates. And the aquamarine, Aquaelle geometry signal code amplifies into the base structure, into the physical format. And through all layers of the energetic body. Lots of emotion as we connect into this and lots of deep grief. And it's the type of deep grief about realizing that you are absolutely divinely connected to the God source, to the mother, to the father. Every single time you connect, every single time you don't connect, you are always consistently connected. This is the new updated belief system to follow. And to reverberate this new belief system, or this deeply integrated and understood belief system, into the aspects held in states of fear, disconnected from the conscious presence that we're in at the moment, due to the amnesiac layer that circulates around the fear trauma. And we're just going to start unlocking that fear, by reverberating unconditional love through the heart of these aspects which are still you. So even if it's hard to kind of bridge into them now, or if when you're in that position of fear, it's hard to bridge back into source connection or into source awareness, we're going to reverberate. It's still running concurrently. So let's reverberate that love light frequency through your essence, unlocking the shadow, unlocking the fear, unlocking the limitation mindset to dissolve, disintegrate, and come back into expanded awareness. And it's usually through periods of collective upheaval when everybody is going through a collective healing, like it was through April. We lose track of who we are, we lose track of what we can do, we lose track of our awareness because everything else is so chaotic around us. It's very hard to find stillness. But when we challenge those belief systems in that moment and disengage from the chaos, we're able to find that source connection again, release the emotion as it's not actually you. Just feel all of the third eye clearing now. It's connected into this. Unlocking the root chakra, the sacral, and just allowing the light of your essence to repair the base of the root where the fear had overridden the ability to hold strength in your structure and your reality. And it may come forwards as a spirit animal as well. Mine's coming forwards as my spirit animal at the moment. And we're just going to allow the being, the part of your essence to replenish and restore where power is inlaid, recreated, stepped up, and evolved and developed. And then we're going to link this back up into the conscious, awake state of being, conscious awareness. So we're not running this as an autonomic repair, we're running this as a conscious repair. It's a conscious choice point. Okay, and then we've got a hell of a lot of grief unlocking through the solar plexus where power had been taken from you through the minimization of your abilities, through the limitation of your awareness. And it's the feeling of power being restored, deep gratitude and reverence to yourself for showing up and allowing yourself to teach you that you're so much more than what you believe. Tia kura tamana asni shia no kura kura tia mata bori asnashni kura. Okay. Let's just connect into all of these different parts of the self now. And we're just going to see the different components build itself back together. And we're just going to take out any inorganic templating AI structures because what I'm being presented with is like a broken down aeroplane for some reason, um, which I actually think is a metaphor towards um, the Merkaba field as well. But because of all the wiring and the circuitry, we want to kind of just strip out all levels of inorganic matter and turn it into a complete light structure, diamond Merkaba redemption vehicle, and then holographically through the Merkaba, we've got oh, okay, we've got lots of things. We've got the pearlescent unk with the mother arc or the Aton body developing. The next thing we've got is the Milky Way galaxy, which is the bridge point connection to the Andromedan galaxy, the mother matrix. And we're just going to anchor that down into the heart. A to je to mana až nesní okura, ko je to jamu to budeš nesní. And feeling the whole higher levels of the body just start to unlock, decompress, and open the space as we connect fully into that realm. Allowing the light streams to process through the light body. And we're going to do this as an anchor point. Okay. And what's kind of come up as we're working through this, there's layers of broken geometry templates. So this is like a kind of unsymmetrical, fragmented layer of geometry. So the templating behind the mother matrix is still under construction, effectively, or it's more accurately, it's damaged and it needs to be resolved. Okay, we've got seals and covenants coming up around this. Let's release, revoke, rescind oaths, vows, agreements, contracts, covenants, locking this information out, keeping it hidden, damaged and broken out of awareness. We want to get the full scope and picture through of this history. And the main layer of this, what I'm seeing is invasion. And then I'm seeing that of kind of explosions and destruction. Um, Deception, betrayal is coming up quite strongly within this as well. and that of having the wool pulled over the eyes. So the question would be, what would be needed to fully restore this time matrix yang maatiano okura tuya dara and connection na yokura to mana ashni si okura. Number one, transmutation of the trauma. So let's clear out all the galactic warfare, destruction, and then the fragmentation of the personality time behind that as well, or afterwards. Okay, we're starting to see more of the templating and it's starting to build back together here. And what's coming through the within the templating is that of a figure, like a female figure or a kind of archetypal figure within the template, but there's an overlay to it where it's kind of blurred out. Okay. So this is kind of presenting as multiple things, but one of the main thing there is like a hidden history or a hidden component within the feminine's ability and power that's been purposefully concealed. And for some reason, I'm being shown a pig, like a really big fat pig. Understand this. I feel like it's kind of related to greed or gluttony. And it's like they want to kind of rule the roost or rule the pen. And by doing that, it needs to be kind of siphoned off and kind of consumed. The energy of it needs to be consumed. So that's what the pig is kind of translating to me within this. So maybe we can kind of just work into extracting the pig. And with light, we're going to just go ahead and squeeze it with white light either side of the pig and just allow it to absorb into it. And in doing so, I'm seeing it kind of vomit the information that had been kind of victimized within that time matrix where it had been kind of damaged. And then that's going into more layers of kind of black goo, black tar, decay. And really underneath all of that acidic black tar, it's presenting as hatred and attack, and enjoyment for the attack. So very kind of service to self. You're in my space, I'm going to take it from you, or I want your space, I'm going to take it from you kind of thing. Okay, and then what I'm seeing is that figure that was blurred out looking through a curtain. and stepping out of the curtain. And in doing so, the templating all rises and it's gold and it's just starting to sit and begin to oscillate and move, acting as almost a charging station or a power station within the mother matrix. And once again, sending lines back into our own universal time matrix. And just updating through the layers of consciousness, the layers of the multiverse history, full body release, full body updating, updating through all fields, updating through all dimensions, and non-dimensionalized fields, all levels or layers of light. Update through all localized grids. We're going to reintegrate the soul essence through time and space, all the way forward, all the way back. And slowly just start coming back to the breath. And have the whole chakra system update, unlock, decompress, the blueprint updating, as we're all working to illuminate that aquamarine blue flame. This then corrects on all levels. We're going to go ahead and seal forward through all levels of layers of light, through all bodies, through the breath of the divine I am. Take it nice and easy coming back. Thank you all so much for joining today. It was lovely. Thank you.